peak of his powers. MCG, middle of winter, big foe, key kick, signature moment, and then captured magnificently by Michael Wilson, which were features last night. The best moments, though, come down in the rooms. 3-month-old Coda joining the Blues in the song for the first time. She might be the good luck charm at the moment. Our players with us on duty tonight. Patrick Cripps here at the desk. Paddy, great to have you here.
Thanks, Jared. Good to be on.
Jeremy Howe, terrific to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So, Woolmark, who I think are a great partner of yours now, they have made their smallest ever jumper for Coda.
How good's that? I got the 200s next week, so they might have to dress up and
make it on. Keep it warm.
How good's that?
Look at
how good that is.
That is pretty cool. So, it's those moments that I know everyone has had kids or has kids. Those moments in the circle when you sing the songs, it's the best. So, we've got a fair few coming in the next sort of 6 months too. So there's going to be a little Carlton army next year. So that's what it's all about.
How did she absorb the hustle and bustle of it all?
She loves the social sort of interaction stuff. She the noisier it is, the calmer she is. So yeah, maybe she could be out there in a couple of years. So she's great. So it was always good. And in the circle, you never know. Like some kids like really cry and kick up a stink, but she was just taking it all in, which was nice.
It's hard to talk about yourself, but we were talking about that beautiful photo of Michael Wilson. Did you see it just on screen? Have you seen it before you got here tonight?
Yeah, no, I got sent that. My family actually sent that through. It's a pretty cool photo. It's yeah, it's something you don't really know when it happens. The moment happens, but
you didn't say to Michael, if I kick a goal, I'm going to turn around here and I'm going to spread my arms and make sure you take a wonderful photo.
I was carrying on a bit. I was just happy I kicked the goal. Yeah.
Look at that. It is. We think it's the essence of footy. MCG, cold, dark grey, Sunday afternoon. The captain of the Blues. It's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Just looking at it, it's almost iconic, that type photo. Yeah. It's brilliant.
So life feel pretty good at the moment? Footy, family life, new phase?
Yeah, life's in a good spot. It's winning helps definitely. A little one sleeping as well, so there's 2 ticks. But look, I've been at the other end of things this time of year, so for me it's just really appreciating this moment. And you know, when you've got a team that is in sync and loves playing with each other, enjoying it and playing the right way, you just try and really enjoy that time. And we're in that phase at the moment where we feel like we're in a good spot and feel like we've got a few levels to go. But yeah, when you're in those moments when you have been through some tough periods before, you really soak it in and just enjoy it for what it is.
And individually, I mean, those numbers are off the charts. Do you feel at the peak of your powers?
I think it's a bit of like a combination of actually when you're playing for a side with a lot of trust and there's a lot of cohesion out there, and you're just out there to do a role. And I know my role is there to the contest and win clearances, but that's sort of the basis of it. Then everything else flows from that. So yeah, I'm in a nice spot individually, but most importantly, we feel like we've got a lot of guys in form in the team, which is fun to play at the moment.
I feel you're moving at this time of the year as good as you've moved. Sometimes when we watch you play, Paddy, you've got bandages hanging off you. You're walking around as if you've got a million injuries, and at the moment you're running, you're moving, you're getting through contests as good as I've seen for a couple of years. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I'd say at this point of the year, definitely. It's sometimes you need a bit of luck throughout the year. Knocks can sort of take away your consistency of training. So I've been lucky most of the year to have a pretty clean run, but it's a bit of a combination of everything. I've the last couple of years, I've put a lot of work into my body, which has set my year up, and in the off-season, the pre-season. Then, as Howe would know, when you win, you tend to recover better. So
oh, you here, Jeremy? Oh, no, Dezza. I didn't know you'd come in, actually. We thought to Paddy.
It's, when you win, in the rooms, you're buzzing around. The first day or two, you're still high on life after a win, and there's something in that, I reckon, when you recover. So I'm just trying to absorb it. And when you inform as a team, you just want to keep the momentum going.
So when you have family obligations, you get straight home from the interstate trip, don't you? So it's fine for some to go to Wet and Wild, but you were due home?
Yeah, so I elected to get on the Sunday morning flight, or the Sunday lunchtime flight. But yeah, it was obviously something that was pre-planned in the schedule for a long period of time. Jared Wade, the high-performance guy, he does an amazing job in terms of keeping energy in for the playing group. I know the result probably doesn't give a good reflection in terms of the way that panned out, but it had been in the plans for a long time, and we've got a lot of trust in the boys to do the right thing.
Why were you on the plane coming home and not at Wet and Wild?
Xander and Carly probably have some influence within that decision-making. But, yeah, look, I was lucky enough to be in Noosa the week before, so I thought I'd better just get back home.
What about the team? Did you? I don't know if you've been listening. People are starting to say Collingwood are losing their aura a little bit, which gathered. You can't deny when you're winning those close games. There was a tremendous aura and fear around Collingwood in close games, and they sort of just dropped off a little bit.
Oh, I guess for us, we still feel teams are still well and truly up for the fight against us, for no doubt. But I think the encouraging sign for us on the weekend, the way that we finished, I know Fly touched on it even post-game, that yes, that's encouraging and it is positive to finish like that, but we've just got to stop putting ourselves in positions that late in games to get so desperate to try and run teams down. It is. Like, I know Fly talked about gears last year. You don't want to be relying on that, especially
And why are you? Why is Collingwood falling behind? I mean, is it lack of losing focus? Are you losing control of the game?
Oh, I don't. On the weekend specifically, I just felt like our first half, we just did the basics so poor. And against Gold Coast there, I just felt like they executed far more consistently than we did. And unfortunately, it doesn't take much to bang on a few goals and get 4 to 6 goals down. And that's where we were. We thought we scrambled, in the third, and then we got it back on our terms in the last. But like I said, you want to set the games up early enough. So that's what we're diving into this week, no doubt, in the review. We'll go through some oppo tomorrow and get to work.
It's a great question that Craig McRae asked after the game, the mentality of playing football. How can you do that in that 30-minute period, but you can't do it in the second quarter? When the Blues were inconsistent, we were asking everyone at Carlton, why are you able to do that for 25 minutes in the second quarter and fall away so drastically between the 20-minute mark of the third quarter and the 15 minutes? I think that you guys have closed that sort of opening of inconsistency. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, and it takes time. When you're evolving and maturing as a side, you can't just go from the bottom to the top like that. It takes lessons, and you go 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you think about 12 months ago, we were out of the 8 and sort of trying to find out who we were as a side. So can change quickly once you get the sort of momentum and what it feels like to be good. But then you factor in former guys, confidence of guys, injuries. Like Collingwood have been smacked with injuries this year, which they're starting to get some guys back. So you can't underestimate, the cohesion and consistency of your 22 consistently out there. And the last 5 weeks, we've sort of had that. So we're able to tinker with little sort of tweaks of our game plan rather than personnel always coming in and out.
This scoring was unbelievable in the third quarter on the weekend. Safe to say, there's not an answer to say it's your best footy you've played in a short period. But damn, it was pretty close, Paddy. When you look back on it, what were you most impressed other than the kicking of goals?
I just think, our defence at the moment is keeping us in games, and, we're happy to be an arm wrestle all day. We know when you play the best teams, it's generally going to be an arm wrestle, and to Richmond's credit, their pressure on that was first class in the first half. They probably had us at the back end of the second quarter, and they probably went in with momentum at half time. But I think the last 5 weeks it's been pretty consistent that we've been able to sort of weather their momentum, and then when we get a chance, we're putting the foot down and putting scoreboard pressure on, and that's the most pleasing thing. But it's coming off the back of our defence, and you're not going to have momentum throughout the whole game. So when you don't have it, how can you hold up? And then when you do have it, how do you put the foot down? And I feel like we're running out games really well at the moment, which has been probably the most pleasing thing in a 5-week patch.
You're back to being the swing man. What's the trigger? Can you feel it coming when it's going to right? Down you go.
I didn't feel it coming on the weekend, but I think Fly's great at trying things and throwing a few magnets around. He doesn't hesitate in not waiting to the end of the game to try some things. And I've obviously done that in the last 2 games at the back end of the games, and found like we potentially works late in games, but ideally he doesn't have to throw the magnets around, and we're kind of doing our job naturally. But I think a few guys have played a few different roles. Like Nick spent some more time forward. You've seen the impact that he's obviously having when he goes down there as well. And I think I'll naturally be a defender, but it's obviously there if you need to.
What you've got, which a lot of forwards haven't got, you've got to want to lead at the ball carrier. Football now is a lot of people standing back. You've got a couple on the lead. Charlie likes getting out, and Harry, but they also like the long ball. The big guys, how many times do you see that? I watch you. You're going at the ball carrier, which is a ball carrier. That's what you want, don't you?
Yeah, obviously you want dual options, so you want the short and the long. So when your systems run well, ahead of the ball, you
Bamboozling.
Yeah, well, you got two looks. You got that one where you can lower the eyes and hit it up, or if you need to, have a contest long, then you got someone there to be able to bring it to the floor.
So that's what you want to bring? That just give them the option all the time?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'll just give them a different look. I think, I provide something a little bit different to the other keys. But if we're moving the ball and transitioning pretty quickly, we've got speed for days down there, hence why the guys get it out the back and probably out in transition. But I'm probably a little bit more old school, continually hit back up the ball, and if we've got a big beast on me, I don't really want to be in a wrestle, so...
If you were 25 and on the market, mate, you'd get paid $900,000 as a hit-up forward.
I'm only 27, so...
We'll get you we'll get an 8-year deal then. There's a lot of 8-year deals going around.
Yeah. Is Darcy Moore struggling for his best form, in your opinion?
Oh, he'd put his hand up and say he's not playing his best footy. But also, as a team, we're not playing the best footy either, so... I think if we're playing a lot more consistent footy and our pressure potentially is not fluctuating as much and we execute the fundamentals, I think we all look like we're going to play a better footy. Darcy's not on his own. We continually support him, us as a back line. We're trying the best as we can. His Monday to Friday work is unbelievable and he's still leading really well. So, like I said, he's probably not playing the best footy he has, but he's definitely contributing to the group.
Big games ahead, aren't they? Friday night, back to Essendon, full house again.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I've never played... I think we've got 5 games at the G in a row. I've never played that many games at the G in a row. Pendles probably would. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Friday night against Essendon, 4th v 6, really important game for both. Both coming off the back of losses. It's going to be potentially pretty hot early, but yeah, we're just looking forward to another opportunity to get to work because. Get back on the winners list as quickly as possible.
And back to the Giants. So this was a really hard slog last year, wasn't it, this game?
Yeah. Well, we played Giants earlier this year and they were undefeated when we played them. So, their best footy stacks up. So it's a pretty tough task going up there. But, we're confident and we're excited about, what we can continue with our momentum. But, yeah, they're coming off the back of a loss too. So, they'll be hungry. So it's going to be a fierce contest to start.
Should we play a bit of with the laws, with the umpiring, holding the ball? So we spoke on Crunch Time a couple of weeks ago, Paddy. So this is something that you are quite thoughtful about and are observing. Just pitch where your thoughts are as a starting point.
Yeah, we had a chat a couple of weeks ago and it was around this new interpretation and it's clear it's not a crack of the umpires, it's the actual interpretation that's being coached. But the arm being pinged is automatically basically holding the ball now if you don't get rid of it. And my thing is, I just think if people don't have pride and they get their arm pinged, it should just be a quick ball up. The thing that I feel like in the game needs to be coached more is incorrect disposal or dropping the ball, even if you make an attempt. For me, should be the rule we're getting after with holding the ball. The one with the arm pinged, I feel like at the moment you have to get rid of it, which is causing people then to nearly hook people's legs. You train that because you see the free kicks, you're naturally going to train it. And then we're talking about we want to de-risk concussion, but if you ping someone's arm, you're cutting their legs and they fall, well, you got no protection. So that's the only grey area I'm thinking with that rule. I'd like to see it more like increasing the hold the ball, but more the incorrect disposal or dropping the ball. All
right, let's have a play with a couple from Saturday night.
Don't hold back, Jez.
Yeah, so the first
Don't
is...
hold back.
So this is Ridley into Tui. This is the one where you have to make an attempt to get rid of the ball when it's all pinned, and even to the point where it just dropped the ball near your foot, which I think would have everybody screaming holding the ball, but that's actually the instruction. Tui here goes around. He actually does get it to his boot, but just a bit too late.
Yeah, the Ridley one for me is probably even touching on Paddy's point. Like if he mid slant or mid rotation throws his leg at it, then creates an imbalance, and then he flips on his shoulder or potentially hits his head. Like, is that what we want to go for, or potentially just ball it up a bit, or just call it a bit quicker and then it's just a ball up? Like he had no prior. His arm's pinned straight away. If he swings his leg, he might potentially go over the back of Stengel and land on his head. Like, yeah, I'm in agreement with potentially just call it a little bit earlier, especially the ones that are kind of momentum and turning, and the drop of the ball and incorrect disposal. I think, like literally what Paddy said, I'm in full agreement with that.
What about prior opportunity, Paddy? You probably are dealing with that more at the moment than a defender. Are you clear and concise on what is prior opportunity and what isn't prior opportunity?
I think if you make an attempt to evade or fend off, you had prior, or if you can get your hands up and have time. So I'm clear with that.
That's the big change, because you guys were taught to get the hands up from the tackle and look around, and then you hold it in, and they used to say, ball up, and that's now prior opportunity.
Yeah, so I still, because you still got a chance to get rid of it if you get your arms up. So as long as you they still got to actually do the right tackle and actually make sure you can't get it out, then it should be holding the ball. But if you don't have prior, just call the ball up quickly. But I think the one, even if I do try and make an attempt and how he tackles me and I drop the ball or it gets knocked out, I feel like that should be holding the ball or dropping the ball.
So let's go to the Bowes-Stewart examples from Saturday night. So would you be in favour of these ones are holding the ball?
All right. Yeah, I'll have a look.
These were both called as play on.
Yeah, see, for me, that's dropping the ball. Yeah.
Yep.
Because you had time.
And then Stewart on the follow-up?
Yeah, he didn't dispose of it correctly. So even though he's made an attempt, I feel like that should be rewarded for the tackler. Then I feel like the one we chatted about before should just be a ball up.
Yep. So the two Kennedy examples you gave us from the Geelong game, which was fresh in your mind, is if we revisited those now.
So he's won the ball. He's had no prior. It's hard to get rid of the ball like that.
And he tried.
Yeah. See, I think both of them should be a ball up, or the second one should let play. The reason I brought it up on the chat we had is what I don't want to see is, we encourage the guys to win the ball. What I don't want to see is me and Howe are running towards the ball and we both don't want to pick it up because we're rewarding the tackler more than the actual guy winning the ball. So, I just think... I actually feel like we chatted off air before, but I feel like the umpires are probably getting a really rough end at the moment because, every week I feel like we're talking about them, but I just feel like these ones aren't the umpire's fault. This is actually how we actually interpret the rules.
Yeah. So that's where the weight is.
Do players talk after the game, and, for example, and say, geez, I was going to get it, but I waited? Do you ever have that conversation, or is it still, no, there's the ball, we'll go for it? Or do they say, no, I waited, I sat back and went for the tackle instead?
No, I don't think you have those conversations, but you definitely review previous incidents that have happened in other games or potentially ones that have had, and you have those conversations around what would you have done or what potentially could have happened or what do you think happens. I know I'm in agreement again with Paddy, with the umpires, potentially there might be a couple of errors, but the interpretations couldn't be any harder for them at the moment, and I feel for them. If we're chasing perfect clean sheets of every call being correct, then I think we're going to be disappointed for a long period of time because, as players, we make more errors than anyone. Maybe the umpires can make a couple as well.
Just school us on the deliberate rush behind. You routinely will be on the last line. If you were Jai Menzies, would you have thought you were all clear to run it through, or are you going, oh, do I have to pull up here?
Yeah, it is a tough one. It's because, again, with the interpretation, the Geelong boys know if they hold back and he decides to run through, then there's every chance he could potentially be done. On the last line of defend, I can vouch that the heat feels more than what it is, but it's definitely up to that. You've got to probably put your head on a swivel and understand what the pressure is. Perceived pressure is also real on the last line of defence as well. I don't know. It is a tough one. I think, if you got probably 3 metres and you decide to take it through and the guys aren't coming at you, I'd probably be inclined to be giving a free kick away.
All right. Great to have you both with us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck for your 250th in a couple of weeks. 200th in a couple of weeks' time.